free audio library.
Welcome. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about a voice over IP device called Yeastar. I'm going to talk about some features that is embedded in this PBX system, which I think is going to help a lot of businesses, both small and large businesses. So please kindly pay attention whilst I log into this PBX device, IP-PBX device, and then we will all go through the features. But this is going to be a series of videos I'm going to be producing based on this particular Yeastar PBX brand. So let me quickly log in, and then we delve with the features. So the first and foremost feature we are going to deal with has got to do with call routing. And call routing in this regard has got to do with incoming calls and outgoing calls. So in this sense, outbound calls, we are going to tell the PBX device that if calls are coming in from outside, which extension should it go to, or which call feature should it go to, or which group of extensions should the call go to. And the other way around, which is the outbound call, we are going to say that which extensions, which call features, which group of extensions can make calls outside. So that's what we are going to do in this video, and that's the feature we are going to work with. So before we continue, or before we proceed, let's make sure everything we have, all our configurations with regards to extensions, trunks, are correct and are active. So for you to be able to view that monitoring platform or dashboard, all you have to do is to come up here, open it up, and you see PBX monitor. And then these are extensions. So currently this is what we have as our extension. These are the registered extensions we currently have. Okay. If we come to our trunks, these are our trunks which are active. Trunks are a means of or the method by which people can reach you from outside your premises, and then you can reach them from your premises to their premises in the outside world somewhere. Okay, we have our concurrent calls here. There are no calls going on currently, and then we have our conference. Okay, so this is it with the monitoring. So as I said, we need to go to the call control, because that's where we can find the inbound and outbound calls. So we delve in here. Okay, so this is the inbound call. Soft phones can be installed on your mobile phones or on your desktop machines. 3CX, I think I have it already. Let me open it up. Okay, I have it here already configured. Alright, so at this moment I'm going to configure an extension to be used by. So I'm going to use this extension. I'm going to configure this extension on my soft phone, and I'm going to use it as a test case scenario. Okay, so let me quickly dive in there. So 1110, right? So I configure extension 110, ID 110, password. Okay, so 192.168.2.7. this is the PBX IP address, and this is how your soft phone or your hard phone should be configured. Caller ID 110. Okay, so if everything is okay, it should tell me everything is working. Okay, on hook. Alright, so at this juncture I have my soft phone working. I have my soft phone currently working 110. So let's proceed with the configuration. Okay, so if we need to monitor and see if the configuration I just did is active and working, just come to PBX monitor and you see it active here. So this is it, it's active. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so as I said, we need to configure an inbound route and outbound route. Okay, so in this case, in this inbound route, I'm telling this PBX device that if any call should come from outside through these trunks, through these extensions, okay, through these extensions, I could choose a number of them. I could choose all of them through these trunks. The destination should be on this particular extension, maybe front desk or any other extension, but in this case I prefer this extension I've just created. Okay, you can go ahead and then give it a distinctive ringtone from here. You can enable fax detection if you have fax in your premises. Configuration, and it has got to do with an inbound route, and I wanted the call to be landed onto a particular extension, so I decided to choose an extension here. Okay, so if I should place a call now, it means my so example, we have a configuration here already, and this is our routing, and this is a configuration we did. We decided that if a call comes in through this particular trunks, these are PSTN trunks, the call should be landed onto this call feature called the queue. Okay, and you can create several queues, you can create several call features, but this is one of a feature we just created. Okay, so if call comes in through these trunks, it's going to land on this queue call feature we created. In the same vein, if a call should come in through this second inbound route rule, we decided that if call comes in, so we actually identified it as a mobile network. So, and this is a GSM network actually. So if a call comes in through this GSM trunk, it should be landed onto this particular extension. The same way you can choose a number of call features. I mean different type of call features as in the extension range, the voicemail, IVR, ring group, queue, conference, external number. These are callback, outbound route, fax to email. These are some of the options you can choose for this inbound route calls. Now, if you move on further, we have a scenario here. Okay, we have this is the inbound route that's got to do with calls that comes in from outside. Now, these are outbound routes. this outbound route has got to do with who can make calls to anybody outside your office premises. So this is an example of how to configure an outbound route. Okay, so you give it a unique name, maybe call out. Then you specify the trunks. Again, trunks has got to do with the medium by which you can reach people from outside the world to your premises, or from your premises to outside the world. So this has got to do with the outbound route. So you pick your trunk, as in if I choose the GSM trunk, or if I choose all of these trunks, I'm simply saying that this particular extension I'm going to choose here. Okay, so example, I'm going to choose only this one, this extension 1110, and then send it here. So per this rule I've just done here. Okay, and then the dial pattern, you can do a customized dial pattern, but these are the details of it. It tells you if you choose X, it matches numbers from 0 to 9. If you choose Z, it matches numbers from 1 to 9. If you choose N, it matches the numbers from 2 to 9. And this dial patterns is a particular feature on the outbound route, and it has its purpose as well. Maybe later you can go deep into it and then read it. So basically this outbound route I've done here or configured here, I'm simply telling the PBX device that this particular extension can make calls to the outside world through these trunks. Apart from this extension I've chosen, any of these extensions can in no way be able to make calls outside. So this is a little I can talk about with regards to inbound and outbound routes. So this is it, and these are the simple way you can go about it. You can decide to assign a pin list or a single pin to it, and it also acts as a kind of protection for your PBX device, so that nobody at all can make calls outside. Okay. You can decide to apply the time condition. So time condition has got to do with so let me go there and then I'll explain it. So time condition has got to do with your working hours. So let's say if you work from morning from 8 a.m. to, let's say, 6 p.m. and then you have break at, let's say, 12, you can specify that here by simply doing this. I give it a name, my work schedule, You can simply give it a name or any name at all you feel like giving. Then you specify the time. Okay, so I work from 8 a.m. okay to 12 p.m. Then the number you specify here is going to calculate the hours for you. Then I return back at 1 a.m. and then close at 6 p.m. And you can choose the number of days, maybe Sundays. You don't work on Sundays and Saturdays, so you can just specify Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so it's going to, if I should apply this rule or save this rule, it's going to apply to the days I've selected here, which is Monday to Friday. and the time period I've selected here. So meaning if anybody makes a call to your premises during this period, you'll be able to get you. In this time interval here is your break time. Calls cannot come in, and probably you cannot make calls out. That's if you choose the time condition in your outbound or inbound route. Okay, we can go to the advanced side and even select the month. Okay, so but in case you don't see this as a necessity, you can just leave it at default and it will not have effect on you. But even after configuring this, the only way it can work is if you decide to add apply the time bound condition, which is this. Okay, the time condition, then it will work. But even if you configure it and don't apply it on the outbound or inbound route, it will never work. Okay, I'm not done. I was talking about holidays as well. So with the holidays, you can specify your holidays, maybe Christmas, maybe your Xmas holidays. That's where most organizations have their long holidays. So you can specify here that, okay, Xmas from this date, maybe from 24th to maybe on the 10th will not be available. Okay, so in this, if you specify these dates, there is no way calls will be able to come into your premises, and you can effect calls outside. And in this way, there is a way you can, in case call comes in and there is nobody to respond, it can be rerouted to your voicemail or your mobile phone number, and there are ways to achieve that. We'll delve into that one in a different video. Okay, so that's it with time conditions. And time conditions actually move with your inbound and outbound calls. Okay, I mean your inbound and outbound route. So outbound restriction. Today we are talking about the call control. It's loading. Okay, good. So as you can see here, so let me effect a rule and then we see how it works. So it says outbound, add outbound restriction. So I've given it a name, which is don't call. I don't want these extensions to call beyond a certain limit. So time limit. Okay, so I'm going to say in a time limit of 10 minutes, this number of calls, about 10 machines can make calls concurrently. Okay, so it says maximum number of calls allowed in the time limit. For example, if you set the number to 10 and the time limit to 5, then when a selected extension has made more than 10 calls in 5 minutes, the extension will be locked and prohibited from making outbound calls. This explains it. Okay, so it says member of extensions. You can choose all, or you can specify the extensions you want. Okay, so I can specify that, okay, I don't want this. I want this to be part of the outbound restriction group. I want this to be part of the outbound restriction group. Yeah, so you can go on and do same thing to other extensions as well. Okay, so that's got to do with this. So after doing this, it means all extensions I've selected to be part of this outbound restriction group will be limited in their calls, making calls outside. Mind you, this does not affect their this does not affect inbound calls coming into their extensions, but it affects their desired call outside. Okay, they are limited. All this is being done to stop abuse and stop misuse. Okay, all right. Then the next thing has got to do with auto-click routes. This has got to do with saving of records. One is SLA, and I think it's empty here, but you can decide to give an SLA to this device. So per this description, give this extension a description name to help you identify it. Basically, that's it. We move on to the next. Okay, which is a time condition. Okay, so okay, the next thing we need to talk about is the call features, and the call features work hand in hand with the call control. So with the call features, this is where you can set your interactive voice response. This has got to do with when you often call offices, you often hear automated voice that speaks to you first before any human picks up your call. This is where you do that configuration. Example is calling MTN and MTN giving you automatic voice response, telling you to wait and all those stuff. This can be done here. Okay, this can be done here, and then the voice prompt you configured for it can be uploaded at this field. So basically, that's got to do with the interactive voice response configuration. So, you know, in this configuration, often you be directed to press certain digits where it will lead you to certain destinations. This is where you can be able to effect that configuration, which means if I say, if you call, let's say my premises, and you have a voice response, it tells you press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical department, press 3 for any other department. These are the configurations that are usually done here. So per the digit you press leads you to a destination. So that's it with the IVR. And if this is configured, I can always come here and apply it at the call control, which means I'm going to tell the inbound route that, or I'm going to tell the PBX that anybody that calls in through this trunk, the destination should be my IVR. Okay, so it means when call comes in, it's going to land on the interactive voice response, just like MTN or other telco does. When it lands on them, now the interactive voice response is going to route the call to the specified destination, and that routing of the call to the specified destination is being done at this site, which is key press event. Okay. The next thing is the ring group. Basically, the ring group has got to do with a number of extensions. Okay, so in this ring group scenario, a call center is a perfect example of where you can apply a ring group scenario. Meaning, if call comes in and I don't want one extension to ring, because maybe if that particular person sitting on that extension is not around, it means the phone is going to ring and no one is going to pick it up. But I want it to be implemented on a number of extensions. So you create the rule and then you specify the ring strategy. You want it to ring at once. If call comes in, do you want the extensions to ring all at once, or do you want it to ring sequentially? This option is there. Sequentially means when one phone rings in a time of maybe 2 seconds difference, the other extensions will be ringing. Okay, that's with regards to the sequentially. So you specify and then failover destination. In case the call comes into this ring group, all the extensions rings, no one picks it up. Where should the failover destination be? So you specify it, maybe voicemail, then you specify the extension, the extension's voicemail here. So that is it with ring group. The next thing is queue. Queue works almost similar to the ring group. Queue works similar to the ring group. So you create your queue row here, then you specify the failover destination, you give it a name and then ring strategy, and then you select the extensions that you want them to be part of the queue. And then you see here we have the agent timeout, which is the number of seconds an agent's phone can ring before we consider it a timeout. If you wish to customize, enter the value into the text box directly. Okay, so which means with this regard, though it works almost similar to the ring group, the difference is in the ring group, where call comes in, depending if you specify that, okay, in the ring group all should ring at once or sequentially, let's say sequentially, because the sequentially works with or is almost similar to the queue. So with the sequentially, I'm going to state that, okay, if a call comes in to this ring group in a space of 2 seconds, when the first extension rings, the second one can ring within a time of 2 seconds. Okay, but with regards to the queuing, I'm saying that, okay, if this agent's call extension rings at this period, the other extensions can also ring. Okay, so the number of seconds an agent's phone can ring before we consider it a timeout. So meaning if one phone rings at a period, let's say 30 seconds, no one picks it up, it will cut, and then it will route to a different extension which is also a member of the queue. So that's the difference. Then here you have your caller experience settings. Music on hold, you can give it any music or any prompt. Caller max wait times. Select the maximum number of seconds a caller can wait in queue before being pulled out. Okay, so you can specify that. So these are all default configuration that has been done already. So that's got to do with the queue. The next thing is conference. I hope you all are familiar with conference. Having a group chat, it can be termed as a conference. This conference can be from your staff, your office branches, and etc. So to do that, you can just add a conference. You specify this number. Okay, so this is a conference extension. You specify the password for people to join. Before participants will join your conference, they need to type in this password, the sound prompt if you have any, and then the moderator password. So you can choose any extension to be the moderator, and you become the moderator if you know the moderator password. Okay, if I choose wait for moderator, it means for me to join a conference, if I press this digits, I need to wait for whoever is the moderator before I can join the conference, which I think is better because we don't want anybody at all to get in. Either you choose this or you can go for the password. Okay, so that's got to do with it. So it says member of moderators. You can choose the number of extensions that you want them to moderate. The next one is the pickup group. Pickup group. The pickup group almost works like the ring group and the queue. Now, this is a simple ring group configuration. Sorry, a simple pickup group configuration. You specify the name and then choose the members of the pickup group. So all these extensions, or you can specify number of extensions to be part of the pickup group. Okay, and it's not compromised. It doesn't have any advanced options for you to deal with. The next thing is a paging or intercom, which also works just like the conference feature. So example, so we have paging or intercom and then scheduled one. Okay, so let's do a scenario here. So you create your paging or intercom and then type. So this type has got to do with, it says select the mode of paging mode. One-way paging. Typical one-way for announcement only. Which means only the extension which is allowed to be part of the intercom page can make an intercom between extensions, but it will be only one way. Which means I can only make announcements but nobody can talk back. Okay, and we have the one-way multicast paging, broadcast and one-way announcement to users whose phones are programmed to listen to a broadcast address. Simple. Before using this feature, please make sure your IP phone supports multicast paging and the broadcast address has been configured on the phone. And we have the two-way intercom, making the paging duplex, allowing all users in group to talk and be heard by all. Simple. So this is where you specify the extensions you want them to be part of the paging or intercom group. If we come to the scheduled paging or intercom, it's almost the same thing. The difference is the date and time. Okay. The difference is the date and time. And the color, let me see what it says. Select who will make announcement via the paging. Okay. So simple. You specify the date and time. And the days of week you want to do this intercom. Right. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be coming up with more videos concerning Yeastar PBX systems. I'll be talking more about its features and ways by which you can use it to further help your businesses. Thank you for watching.
free audio library.